Spoken.
Hello, Facebook friends. Marianne here. I've been speaking to a lot of you about what is going on with ICE in our country and how it threatens basically the human rights of every single person that is a citizen of this country. Because when you have injustice against any one demographic, it weakens the rights of everybody. So I want you to meet an extraordinary man that I've had the benefit, thanks to Alan and Chloe and Josh Stanton, of meeting today, who is doing wonderful work. And he's going to share with you a little bit about what you can do to try and stand up during these times.
Thank you, Marianne. So one of the things that we saw happen this weekend is that ICE, when they attempted to come into our cities and our homes, people stood up to it. Right? And it's not only did we have our non-citizens saying, refusing to open the door, we were mobilizing citizens to come out to where those sites of raids were, which meant that ICE is now held accountable for doing the right, for having some sort of so they wouldn't violate our due process. So when you ask what you can do, immediately we point to our how to be a buddy system. A buddy system means that you are going to partner with non-citizens. That partnership is that if I am being taken away, I will call Marianne to say, hey, ICE is at my door. She will mobilize the community to see what is happening at my door, record what is happening, ask questions about why they're there. Do they have a warrant? Let's see the warrant. If they do take me away, then she will call ICE directly saying, hey, where is Ravi? What is happening? Why is he being detained? Why is he being taken away? If I have legal options, that they won't be able to violate that legal option. Also looking at the family itself. So, you ask the question about the children. If the parents are taken away, what happens to the children? So another buddy will be able to be there for the children, be there for the family, so that we already know who is going to take care of the children. The parents are not worried because they have already made that plan and what is happening to the children in that moment and long term. If I'm deported, what happens to my kid? I will have set that up with you as a buddy. Okay, you need to send my child on after I settle back down. So the buddy system is very, very important. Marianne is going to post a simple card of what it is, and that buddy system and that relationship means you could walk with them at any time. Meaning that if they're in removal proceedings, that you are also accompanying them to their interaction with immigration. That is very, very valuable because it shows Immigration and Customs and this administration that the citizens, are getting involved. And it creates a grassroots movement. And one of our taglines in the grassroots movement is, you cannot deport a movement. You need to be part of that movement so that we will be able to stop them, and that the movement cannot be deported because you are part of it. You are a member as well of our non-citizens.
Can you tell them about who you are and your experience and why you care about this?
That's a long story, but I have been fighting my own deportation, and in January 11 of 2018, if you just put Ravi or Trinidadian deportation, there will be thousands of hits about what happened on January 11. So I just mentioned accompanying the non-citizens. I have hundreds of people who accompany me to immigration, and they did that on January 11. So when they took me away, people protested. People didn't want me to be deported, including elected officials. In fact, 18 people got arrested trying to stop my deportation, including 2 city council members. And it showed the violence of this administration. It showed the violence of this agency. But it is the reason I'm still here right now, because people were standing up. So what we want to do is to create that movement so that when someone has to check in, when someone has to interact with immigration, that we are able to have that movement protect that safety net that protects not only an individual, but protects the community. Because when we create a safe space for 1 and 2 and 10, we create a safe space not only for the immigrants, but for people who, any violence, against violence, whatever that violence could could take a manifestation. So even domestic violence is an example of when you have a safe space, you will basically be able to handle those types of situations that is coming against an individual and a community.
And it's so important that people be educated right now because, some of you may be aware, ICE has shown up with warrants that aren't completely filled out,
Right.
fake warrants. I know Catholic Charities and other groups have been doing a good job of educating their communities on what those things look like so that they actually ask for the papers before they just trust and give somebody over to ICE. But it takes a lot of training, and one of the things you're doing is training, right?
Correct. So we train you on how to be a buddy. Sounds easy. We train you on how to accompany someone. It sounds easy, but one of the we tell you you're doing the accompaniment wrong if you're talking. So we have to teach you how to keep quiet. But it basically is a good check that if you have to say something, it means that you have to reevaluate what you're doing and how you're doing it. And that has made it has been a factor in how immigration here in New York has been able to, how they have responded and having to treat people with respect. So we teach you how to be an accompaniment. We also teach you how to help people who don't have lawyers. There are a lot of lawyers, a lot of people don't have lawyers because there's such a large need. So what happens to the person who cannot get a lawyer, cannot afford a lawyer, they will ultimately be ordered deported. So if you are able to help them with their paperwork, it means that they can have a true day in court because there is a completed proper application for why they should be staying here in the U.S.
So being able to know all this information is incredibly empowering. And as I've said before, I think that it is really, we're fighting for the soul of our nation right now. We're fighting for who do we want to be, not only in the eyes of the world, but what kind of country do we want to be? A land of the free that respects the human rights and dignity of every human being, or people that demonize a demographic and blames all its woes on one demographic. This is the choice that we're facing right now in America. So one of the really beautiful things I've been hearing about your work today is that you're empowering a lot of communities of faith to be able to do this kind of work.
Correct. So I'm glad you said it, that you said that because New Sanctuary is a network of interfaith organizations, whether you're Muslim, Jewish, Hindu, Buddhist. We work with that community who believe no one should be deported. And I want to say that very clearly. No one should be deported because this law is racist. This law, remember the first immigration law, even before Nazi Germany, which used the immigration of America as a model, was to stop the Chinese from being here in America. So the law started in racism and it still continues in racism. Think about it. Do you want to uphold a racist law? This is a racist law. This is like the Fugitive Slave Act. Would you say you want to call the Fugitive Slave Act again? So when we talk about that, it means that because we believe no one should be deported, it is so much easier for us to help someone. We don't care what country you're from. We don't care what language you speak, what's your religion, what's your sexuality, what's your history. Meaning that even if you did commit a crime and you've served your time and your family, you want to be with your family, you should be given that opportunity to be with your family. Second chances is faith-based, and that's why it is so important that we base this in the faith community.
Absolutely. And it's important to also emphasize that's not hyperbole to say that this is like the slave acts in the past.
Correct.
Because right now there's situations in the state of Texas where they're building facilities at 45 to 75 million each. And we know people don't spend money unless they think that they're going to make money out of it. And in Texas, it's legal for people who have been put into prisons to be forced to work for free. And corporations basically buy their working, their sweat labor through these private prisons. So when people are detained for a long period of time, they can become a free labor force. So this is a prescription for slavery. And that is something that's can't be said strongly enough. So to fight all this, the amazing work that they're doing here, what we're hoping to do, and we'll be announcing it soon, Reverend Chloe Breyer will be working with you to try and do more training here in the city of New York, and we'll be working with them to try and bring this training down to Texas. So wanted to let you all hear some of the amazing work that they're doing here, and I'm sure it won't be the last.
No, it wouldn't. We are here to engage with the grassroots movement. We are going to create a movement that you're part of and you should be part of, and you want to include anyone you know so that they cannot deport the movement, because together we are stronger than anyone and any administration and any government.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And something that I want to also emphasize to all of you, my followers, as I've said before, if I've done anything with my life that is worth anything, then that should speak for the potential of every one of those people in cages right now, because all of them have that potential to give. And when you weren't born in this country, one of the things that you get is such a sense of gratitude and purpose to make the most out of what you can do here. So I can promise you, those of us that weren't born here, we have such a love and patriotism and desire to try and help America to be a wonderful place to live. So please see inside the eyes of every one of these people the potential to contribute to your country.